Yes, my name is Smart Mado Ajaja. I am from Nigeria. This message is dedicated to all Africans and African leaders at this special moment in our continent's history. The storm is gathering. Make no mistakes. What we are experiencing this minute is a preamble of what is to come. And guess what? The final target is Africa. The final target is Africa. The final destination is Africa. There is a diabolic conspiracy to take Africa by all means and at all costs. Internal strife has ravaged the continent for over 60 years. They have used our own people, our leaders, to stifle the progress of Africa. They have used science to castrate the continent of Africa. Now, the moment of globalization has come. Who are the victims of globalization? Just as it was with slavery and apartheid. The answer is as good as your guess. Africa and Africans. It is time for the African people to wake up. It is time for the African people to rise up. It is time for the African people to develop their own system. It is now time for Africa to design its own educational curriculum. It is time for Africa to build its own science and technology. It is time for Africa and Africans to be their own roads. It is time for Africa and Africans to trade together. It is time for Africa to break down the artificial boundaries that were put up in 1800s by imperial Europe when their industrial revolution became a global emergency that needed African raw materials and African cheap labor. How long are we going to remain students of this big university that we'll never graduate from? When are we going to be freed? African prophet after African prophet has said one thing or the other. African unity is compelling. But we have this leadership that does not listen to the African people. The moment is here. Coronavirus is here. Guess where it's going to? The epic center by their design is Africa. The plan is to wipe out Africa. Take me seriously. We have won severally in the past. Our leaders don't listen because they don't believe in themselves. They don't believe in their people. They don't believe in Africa. They don't want to see the progress of Africa from an African prism. That is our greatest setback. Now, a vaccine is in the making. And guess what? The destination for testing is Africa. We, Africans, must resist this. If our leaders don't listen, Africans must resist the use of Africans as guinea pigs to test the vaccines that are in the work. Any African with basic science, basic knowledge of science, especially in immunology, must know that a vaccine cannot be produced within 6 weeks. That untested vaccine that will be injected into humans is not produced within 6 weeks. So the vaccines that they are working on, let them use it on their own people. Let them use it on Chinese. Let them use those vaccines on the Spanish people. Let them use it on the Europeans. But never Africa. Africa must not accept to be used as guinea pigs in the laboratories of Imperial Europe and their Chinese collaborators. No way. I thought I shared this message to you, with you. Please share with all Africans. We have suffered enough. Our people have been subjugated enough. Everything, the goal is to take over Africa. Now they want to use science to wipe us away. We must put an end to this. Listen to the lies of Professor Patrick Lumumba. Listen to the lies of Malema of South Africa. Listen to me. I am joining my voice with theirs to build a new Africa, to build a new pathway for African progress and prosperity, made in Africa, by Africans, for Africans, and we can share our civilization with the world in a manner that will be respected, and no longer as consumers of trash from every part of the world. We must graduate. We must build our own system. The time to start is now. Coronavirus was manufactured. It's never a disease that just came up on its own. Those who brought it about know what they are doing. It is to cleanse the world and control the world, including especially Africa. Africa has the world's over 30% natural and mineral resources. That is what they are looking for. That is why you are seeing war. You are seeing crisis in the northeast of Nigeria. They call it Boko Haram. Boko Haram is a bankrupt political machination hiding behind religion that Imperial Europe created. It is for the fight, the control of the Chad Basin. That is why you see that. That is why you see what is taking place in that part of Nigeria and in other hotspots where there are crises all over Africa. They are not African wars. They are not African confusion. Look at Zaire, for instance. Zaire has the thing that makes billions of cellular phones on earth work. Yet that country is the poorest on the surface of this earth. What an injustice to a people. African leaders, African leaders, African leaders. This is a special appeal to you. Come together. Come together. Purge yourself. Purge yourselves of colonial mentality. Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. For none but ourselves can free our mind. That was what Bob Marley said. And that is what we are saying today. Africa will never be that continent that the world will respect unless the African people take charge of their present and their future. The moment to start is now. African young people, where are you in this? Your continent is at the verge of being colonized again. They did it before. We must not allow them to do it again. They come with all forms of machination to make us look inferior, to make us look incapable of doing anything, to make us remain subsistent in our thinking. When we leave the shores of Africa, we are the best in whatever we do. Why can't we bring same to our fatherland, our motherland, Mother Africa, to make it work for us? Start thinking. Raise your consciousness that you are not inferior to anybody. Let us wake up. Let us not be those people that have been condemned eternally to slavery. We are better than we think we are. Nobody can define us but ourselves. Let us rise. The moment is now. This century is ours, no matter how much they try. Let us raise our consciousness, come together, break those artificial boundaries, and let trade flow amongst us. The boundaries we have, all the countries we have in Africa are all fake. We didn't form those countries, and they did it deliberately to continue to keep us in wars and in struggles against ourselves. Africa, 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 arise. Africa, wake up. Africa, now. Africa, now is your hour. Now is your minute. Let us get it done. We can do it. They want to keep us in poverty. They tell us we are free, but we are held bound in chains of poverty, squalor, and disease, and ignorance. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Jump into the ring. Let us use our mind. Let us use love. Let us come together and set our motherland free. God bless you. God bless Africa. Please share this message as you receive it. Don't waste a minute. It takes you just a second. Share it with all Africans from across Africa and around the world. Africa, unite!